Good morning. I wanted to go ahead and now that everyone has their email addresses and also you've signed up for a virtual tour, hopefully, I wanted to let you go ahead and get started on some of the things that you could do this week to get you acclimated to Isla Montessori. Even if our Zoom meeting is later in the week, I wanted to be able to show you these so you can get a jump start on your own if you would like. Know that I sent you this 2020 field experience kind of timeline with lots of suggestions for being able to guide you. In the absence of being able to be face-to-face, it makes this a little bit harder to have some of those teachable moments or those quick exchanges of conversation with your partnership teacher that provide clarity. That's the purpose of the two pieces of information that I sent you. With the absence of those interactions happening, this will hopefully provide you with a little bit of background knowledge and support so you can be able to operate a little more comfortably within each of the environments. This week, you're taking your tour of Isla Montessori with Zoom, which will be with me. Our teachers are still working to get their live sessions going, and so to support them this week and being able to support their schedules, I offered to be able to help them by giving a tour of these environments. So you'll do your Isla Montessori environment tour with me and learn a little bit about how we're planning. And then there's two things that you can do on your own now that you have your Montessori account. You'll be able to review works in the virtual classroom, and you'll be able to join a morning meeting. I wanted to be able to show you how to do both of those things. Now that you've received your Isla Montessori account, what you can do is click on the 9 dots from within your email and be able to click on Classroom. You've been invited to your partnership teacher's classroom, and therefore you'll be able to log into that classroom just as a teacher so that when you're both sharing or talking about something in that classroom, your view is the same. The student view of classroom is different. You'll learn a little bit about that in your Zoom meeting with us. Once you're in the classroom, you'll be able to see the different works available. Not everything is available in this Google Classroom. The biggest thing about Montessori is that there's differentiation. Remember, these teachers are teaching 3 grade levels, all subjects. To put all of that into one classroom is a lot. To divide it all amongst a lot of these classrooms is a little bit more chaotic even for teachers. So we had to find an alternative way. This week, as 2 of the things that you could do, one is to review a work, and the second is to join a morning meeting to learn more about discussions. You can do that here through Google Calendar to join a discussion. When you click on the Google Calendar, it will bring you to your teacher's calendar. This is the same calendar that the children see. To join a morning meeting, you can simply click on the morning meeting. You can see here it says 8:15 a.m. morning meeting. Click there, and you'll see the Zoom link pop up. That's exactly where you can click to join. You'll go right to the waiting room. The teacher will admit you into that morning meeting. It's really important that you have your name correctly spelled so that the teachers know exactly who they're admitting into the meeting. If they don't recognize the name, they are not permitted to let you in. This is for safety purposes. So please make sure that your Zoom name has your exact name, and then they can let you in from the waiting room to join that morning meeting. Email your teacher and let them know you'll be joining that meeting, and then introduce yourself once you're there. The teacher will prompt you. Once you've introduced yourself, just sit back and observe and watch how our teachers provide community and student ownership through leadership in these meetings. Our students are still a little bit shy, so be patient with them. And again, watch how the teacher drives that discussion to try and bring them into a more comfortable zone with Zoom meetings. These same meetings happen in our classrooms every morning when we're face-to-face. That's how you'll join a discussion, morning meeting, as part of one of the things that you could do this week. Additionally, another thing that you can do is look at work for the students. Again, 3 grade levels, all subjects, is pretty hard to get into here. So our teachers designed a virtual classroom. You'll always see them here under Week of and Virtual Classroom. It's listed as a material for students. When you click on this material, it will pull up an actual virtual classroom. That virtual classroom begins for students at the front of our school building. Each week, they click into the day that they need to enter. For example, today's Wednesday, so they will go to Wednesday. In the classroom is a shelf, just like they see in their regular classrooms when face-to-face. There's also a whiteboard here with priority works. I'd love for you to explore this. Look at the different supports that are in place, from pictorial supports to easy, clickable ways to get to where they need to go. What's most important to understand is you're looking at a 3-year cycle. For example, this is a lower elementary classroom, so this has first through third graders in it. Quite the range of abilities. How are we supporting that in this one little room? Pictorially, with listening or audio being available. To look at works, you can simply click on any of these icons. For example, I know that they have some follow-up work here for reading, so I'm going to go ahead and click here on the books. This follow-up work is from a live lesson. If you wanted to join that live lesson, you could do so by simply going to the calendar and finding the live morning lessons. For example, first years are at 8:30, and you could join that one. If you listen to that and then wanted to see, or join that, and then wanted to see the follow-up work, you can click on the books. The books leads the children into that language arts room. And again, you'll see there's a specific work that they need to do. And then in addition to that, there are works that provide choice. For works that provide choice, click around and see. In a Montessori classroom, they have priority works or have-tos. And then they have 3 hours to fill. Those have-tos don't fill the entire 3-hour work cycle. And the priority works don't fill it. So they have choice. This is meant to look at what they're interested in and for them to be able to explore those interests. For example, cursive lessons. They might be interested in the cursive lesson. They can click there and do that work. You'll also see that there's spelling materials here. There's a movable alphabet for children to enjoy, and then there's also their grammar works as well. If you don't see that it's a hot link, meaning you can't click on it, it's because it's a work that they haven't had a lesson on. Again, in a Montessori classroom, there's a lot of things on the shelves, and children know it's not something they should choose until they've had the lesson. So that's why you may not be able to click on it yet. Explore each room that you see and look at all the works that are available. And again, check for how we are helping children and how we're planning on helping children in this new virtual environment. You'll see here, for example, in the journaling room, that there are journals each day. There's support built in so that the student can understand and see the work or hear the work, depending on what learning style they are. Have fun exploring and learning how we are differentiating for each child by looking within each classroom and looking at the works. You can go into any day of the week, and in fact, I encourage you to go into all days of the week in order to see these. So for this week, if you haven't gotten your Zoom tour with me yet, no problem. You're going to be invited into the classroom. Go ahead in, check out the works, and then email your partner teacher and say, hey, I'm going to join you in a discussion, a morning meeting. You know exactly how to get to it from the calendar. Join in one day this week and look at how we are using Montessori even virtually. I encourage you to continue to use the support here to help guide you. Again, it's going to help with a little bit of that distance that may occur because we're not face-to-face. And in addition to that, I also encourage you to truly use this guide because, again, it provides you with information that, again, in your classrooms with a partnership teacher could be an easy conversation had that might be more difficult when we aren't face-to-face. As you observe this week, you'll observe each of these, how we're giving lessons and work, how we share strategies, and then also our personalized learning. Observing in Montessori is big for looking at behavior, interactions, learning styles, and how are we supporting behavior, interactions, and learning styles, and how we plan and differentiate our work, and how we are able to have discussions and to build leadership within the communities of our classrooms. So I encourage you to read through the information as much as possible so that as you're in there doing these different things, you have a little bit more background knowledge. If you have any further questions, you can email me or your partnership teacher. Just know that they might take a little bit of extra time in order to be able to contact you back. These are your works and things that you could do this week in the classroom now that you're invited in. And sign up, please, if you have not already, to do a Zoom virtual tour with me. I'll go in way more depth on these things for you and answer any questions that you have. Until next week, I'll tune back in and show you a little bit more about things you can do and look for in modeling in Montessori. I'll see you soon.